welcome back, it's me again. And I put a video out last week showing my weekly reading, well I say list because I've tried to do TBR slightly differently in July. Hey Google, can you turn up the bedroom light by 50%?
Sure.
That's better.
Turning up the bedroom by 50%.
So what I've tried to do is I tried to change up my TBR for July. So rather than having a month's worth of books that I can choose from, I'm literally choosing what excites me on a week by week basis. So you'll find that you'll get a short showing you what I'm going to read, and then I will do a vlog with what I actually read and what I actually thought of it. And then I will be catching up with my crochet blanket. At the moment I've got a bit of tennis elbow. Well, I say tennis elbow, but I've sort of done something to my elbow. They think it's similar to tennis elbow, so I'm literally doing physio on that. So at the moment it's like, the crocheting's still happening, but it's still happening very slowly. So once that's sorted I will be back on it, and then we'll get some more crocheting videos out, but at the moment it's just going to be book ones. So the first one that I read this week, which will come up as a picture beside, because where they're library books that have got reservations on them, I've tended to take them back so other people can enjoy them. So we have the Strawberry Patch Pancake House. It's Laurie Gilmore. What more can be said about Laurie Gilmore? It is fluff, it is romance. But the one thing I do like about it is that when we go to Dream Harbour we meet different people, and everyone has their own I'll say thing going on. Everyone's like doing their own thing, and it's not necessarily, although it does cross over a little bit, it's not too much. And I feel like you learn about more of the people who live in Dream Harbour every time you read another one of these books. I have already reserved the next one at my library, which I think is the gingerbread... It's gingerbread something. Here we go, Laurie Gilmore. It is the Gingerbread Bakery. Oh, and it looks like next May, 2026, she has announced the Daisy Chain Flower Shop. So that's awfully exciting as well. So lots to look forward to. I mean, it's not earth-shatteringly... It's just, it fits in a nice place. And sometimes when you just need... I was reading a book, which in the end I DNF'd, because it was a book that it was a non-fiction biography that I started the series years ago, and I was rereading the first couple, and then I wanted to read the new one. The new ones, the ones I hadn't read. But I'll pop a picture of the series up here. It's called Down to Earth. That was it, Down to Earth. Down to You, something different. So it was Down to Earth, but I did find that how much I love the TV series, I was starting to find... The first one was amazing, and I sort of went through that at a rate of knots. The second one was a little bit slower, and then the third one had taken me 2 weeks and I only got like 50 pages in. So it was becoming really slow, and I wasn't enjoying it as much as I enjoyed the others, and sometimes you've just got to realise that you maybe you're reading the wrong book. So I put it to one side, and then I started reading the Strawberry Patch Pancake House and read that in less than a day. I think it was a day off, I hasten to add, but I read that in less than a day. So yeah, so I've unfortunately DNF'd the Down to Earth ones. So the Strawberry Patch Pancake House, this is a romance between I want to say a chap, oh god, I do remember what happened in the book. I'm just really bad with names. I want to say Nate. I don't think it is Nate. Archer. Oh my goodness. It's names. I know what happened in the book. It's just names. So Archer is a single dad. He's just found out that he's a single dad. And because the mother of his child passed away. So he has a little girl called Olive. So Olive, who's never met her dad before in her life, is a little bit complicated, is a little bit interesting. And Archer's a world-renowned chef. And what he's done is he's moved back to Dream Harbour, because that's where Olive lives, that's where the people are that Olive, you know, knows. So he's moved back to Dream Harbour just for the moment while they settle into their new way of life. And he's working in the diner. The person who usually makes pancakes in the diner has gone, and they had a special recipe way of doing it, and it's just not the world-renowned chef kind of way. But then on the flip side, he's also looking for a nanny, and this is where you step up Iris. I love the fact she's called Iris. So in walks Iris, who's looking for somewhere to live, and he's looking for a live-in nanny. So what we find as the book goes on is that, you know, they get closer, they sort of help, she helps with Olive, and she teaches Olive a lot more things than, you know, things she hadn't seen before. So like she's taught her how to swim, she's taught her how to do a lot of things. And yeah, I don't go into too many spoilers, but it's just nice romance, and sometimes you just need a little bit of nice romance to just keep things ticking over. So that was the Strawberry Patch Pancake House. So the second one I read was one that deviated from the list. And I know I deviated from the list, but there's a good reason for deviating from the list, and that was because it had a reservation on it. And it was called One Golden Summer. So I picked this up a couple of times. I wasn't quite sure about it, but then it had a reservation on it, so I thought, right, I'm going to just go forth and read it. And oh my god, it was a 5-star, you know, contender. It was absolutely amazing. I absolutely loved it. I loved the tone of the book. I loved the way that the author, Carley Fortune, described the area they were living in. I could not fault it. It was absolutely lovely. And it was about a girl that's into photography. And that was interesting because I like it when things are a bit different. I mean, you can have a romance, but when they're into something that's a little bit unusual. So like, I quite like this one because it's got photography in it. I picked up a few romances that are like got F1 and race car romances. That's for next week, just because, you know, I've watched F1 and it was interesting. And it's just, it changes the background of the romance. But so basically so Alice is the photographer, and she is looking after her grandmother who has broken her hip, and basically she's doing physio and everything like that, and she wants to go back to the lake because good things happen at the lake. So Alice organises this with an old friend of her nan's, and they go off to the lake. And the chap who has been because John, who is the chap who owns the house in Barry Bay, she is not, he doesn't live there anymore. His wife passed away. He's still got the house, but he now lives somewhere else. So he has Charlie, who looks after the space for him. Charlie gets it ready for them, makes sure that it's properly equipped so that Alice's nan doesn't have another fall. It just makes sure it's safe, you know, all of that malarkey. So Alice turns up, and Charlie's just really flippant, and it's really quite nice to see someone that's really, really flippant and really, you know, happy with what they're doing, you would think. And then she also meets the rest of Charlie's family, and Charlie gets on really well with Alice's nan. So, you know, it's all very sort of lovely, and everything gets, you know, sits in a nice place. Stuff does happen. I'm not going to turn around and tell you what it all is, because I feel everyone needs to read this book. I mean, I didn't see it coming. I don't know whether I just wasn't paying attention or what, but I didn't see it coming. And then when it arrived, I was like, wow. And then it was like again and again. And then you learn how to love, and you learn how, you know, time changes, and some things change and some things don't, and how sometimes you can just go back to what you wanted before. I feel there was a lot of learning points, and I've learned a lot from this book. So that was One Golden Summer, and so that'll come up as a picture because that had a reservation on it, so I had to take it back because I loved it so much. I kind of wanted someone else to read it too. So the third book and the last one for the moment, I mean at the moment it's Saturday afternoon, it may be that if I read another one tomorrow that you'll get another bit on the end of this video. But the third one that I've read this week is Not in Love by Ali Hazelwood. I only finished this 10 minutes ago, so hence why I still have the book. So this year I've kind of got really into Ali Hazelwood. I've read The Deep, and I've got a few others that I'm waiting for. You know, I've got in my TBR pile that I'm going to be reading. And then this one I read because the second one of this series came out about a month or so ago, and that was The Problematic Summer Romance. So when I talk about books being a little bit different, this one I wasn't expecting it to be sciencey because it's not part of the STEM books that Ali Hazelwood writes, but it was sciencey, and that sometimes, I mean, that was very different, and don't get me wrong, I'm not knocking it, I actually really enjoyed it, but I kind of needed to get into the fact that it was romance, but it's different romance, and I really did enjoy that fact. I mean, it wasn't my favourite Ali Hazelwood that I've ever read, but I still enjoyed it, and I still loved it, to be honest, it wouldn't put me off reading Ali Hazelwood. But it's just interesting how this one's very sciencey, and then it's not a STEM one, which was quite interesting. But I feel like it's got me all geared up for The Love Hypothesis, which is in my pile to read at some point once I get the library books down. But in this one we meet Rue, who is a scientist, and she's quite lonely. I say quite lonely, she's got a few good friends, and she has her job at a company called Klein, because she's a bioengineer. I have to read this off the back of the book, not because I don't remember it, but because I want to make sure that I get all the terminology right. So she is a bioengineering, and Klein is one of the most promising startup companies. They have their own patents. They have really good scientists working with them. And then what happens is that she meets Eli. Well, she doesn't know she's met Eli, but she meets a man that she meets on the internet, and they date. Well, they say they date. They have one night. Let's put it that way. And then the next day she finds out that Clyde is in trouble. A company has bought out the debt for the company, and you know, they've got their perfect patent, which they want to keep off, and it brings a stable life that Rue feels that she had down, you know, is starting to crumble. But it turns out that Harkness, the group who have bought the debt, one of their main people in their business is Eli Kilgrove, and that's the chap that Rue spent one night with. And however much she hates him for it, and he doesn't want, and as far as he's concerned, she's off limits. They still, obviously there is still a certain amount of love for each other and wanting to help each other and wanting to care. And I think that's what I loved about the book, is that, you know, regardless of what was going on in the background, you know, they kind of kept it going, and I really loved it. It wasn't my favourite Ali Hazelwood, but it was definitely one of those. I'm definitely enjoyable, and I'll definitely carry on reading them as long as she keeps writing them. So that's Not in Love. So that's where I'm at this week so far. As I say, it's Saturday afternoon, so if I end up reading like tomorrow, then you'll probably end up getting another snippet on the end of this video. So if I don't see you again tomorrow, then, or on the end of this video, then please feel free to like, subscribe, do the YouTubey things if you want to see more about what I'm reading. I say the crochet videos will come back at some point. I'm trying to get them back as soon as I can, but you know, these things are it is what it is. We just have to you know, go through the recovery period, and then hopefully I'll come back and be ready and raring to go. But yeah, so take care, enjoy, happy reading is all I'm going to say. Make sure you love your libraries, because let's face it, I couldn't read as much as I read. I know I buy a lot of books, but I couldn't read what I'm reading without libraries, and libraries are great spaces. But that's my sermon for this morning. So if you like what you see, please take care, and I look forward to seeing you on another video. Alright, take care. Bye.